was, as you all know, we're here because of a shooting that we had, a mass shooting that we had at the Inland Regional Center just up the street here. Latest count is we have 14 people that are confirmed dead. We have 17 people that are wounded. Initial information was 14. That number is now 17 that is wounded. I don't know the status of the wounded in terms of numbers that are serious or critical or what that is at this point. And then afterwards, we had an investigation. One of the tips that we were following up on took us to a house in Redlands where we made contact with the suspect vehicle that we were looking for. That resulted in a pursuit, which ultimately came back into the city of San Bernardino. And on San Bernardino Avenue between Richardson and Mountain View Avenue, that pursuit terminated. There was an officer-involved shooting. Last count, I've been told that we had 20 or 21 officers that were involved in that gun battle with the suspects. The two suspects that were in that car are both deceased, and I have their names. First one has been identified as Saeed, S-Y-E-D, Rizwan, R-I-Z-W-A-N, last of Farouk, F-A-R-O-O-K. He is 28 years old. I am told that he is U.S. born. The person that was with him is a female. She is deceased as well. Her name is Tashfeen, T-A-S-H-F-E-E-N, last of Malik, M-A-L-I-K. She is 27 years old. I do not have any additional information on where she is from at this point. The reason and how we came across that, and I'll just kind of talk about the investigation a little bit. I'll talk about the investigation a little bit. There was some questions you guys asked in an earlier press conference about a person that had left the meeting angry. This was a meeting, Christmas party type event that was taking place with San Bernardino County employees at the Inland Regional Center. Mr. Farouk is a county employee. He works with his title as an environmental specialist in the public health department, has been employed there for 5 years. He was at the party. He did leave the party early under some circumstances that were described as angry or something of that nature. That is the information that we were following up on when we encountered him back near this residence in Redlands, which led to the pursuit and the officer-involved shooting. And as we've now confirmed, he is one of the deceased. A little bit about the response that we had, some questions that were asked earlier. From the time that we received our first 911 call of a shooting taking place inside the residence, or inside the business, the Inland Regional Center, to the time the first police unit arrived on scene was 4 minutes. Almost immediately after our arrival, we had multiple units arriving, and they immediately entered the building, as I said, responding to an active shooter type situation where they encountered victims and they were in search of the suspects. Multiple teams of officers were going into those various buildings and doing that. From the time that we were able to start extracting those victims, which was a few minutes after we had cleared the first rooms and where we found the victims, to the time from the time we extracted them, got them to the triage center just outside of the business where they were treated by paramedics, and then transported to the hospital was about 15 minutes. So it was fairly fast for a situation such as this. So with that, any questions?
So the relationship between the two dead suspects.
We have gone back and forth between information that they were married or that they were engaged, but there was a relationship. I don't have it definitive as to exactly what that is now.
The gentleman that you're holding now and questioning, how does he fit into this?
You know, I have not been able to get an update as to whether or not that person was involved. As I said before, when the officer-involved shooting occurred, the initial officers that we had information from did not see anybody specifically fleeing the vehicle. It was other responding vehicles that saw this person running away from the scene, stopped him, and detained him. For that reason, we don't know if he was involved or what his involvement is at this point.
What was the motive at this point?
So we initially put out that we had information that there were upwards of 3 shooters. Right now, as we continue to drill down on information and the witness statements that we have, it really looks like we have 2 shooters, and we're pretty comfortable that the 2 shooters that we believe went into the building are the 2 shooters that are deceased up on San Bernardino Avenue.